Alright, so a lot of you have asked about how we film our Monday coffee videos and other videos that we post. So today I'm going to take you through the setups. We just finished filming our 1st of November. We did a bit of a Halloween theme type of setup. So first things first, we actually film in 2 rooms. So Nikki is in this room here, and I'm going to explain a bit about this. And I'm in this other room. We'll go first in Nikki's room. This is also our day office, right? So everything that you see here set up for filming is temporarily. I only set it up when we film. Usually all of it gets packed and put aside, so this becomes our office. We have 2 chairs here. This is where we work, our home office basically.
Cable management.
You don't need cable management when everything gets packed, okay? Okay, so we'll start with the light. So the light that Nikki has here is a Elgato Key Light, and you'll hear Elgato quite a lot. We're big fans of the Elgato brand when it comes to streaming and video production. So on top of this Elgato LED light, this is a LED light basically. There's a softbox which I bought. It wasn't for this light. It was a separate. But I adapted it so that it looks nice. We kind of stayed away from big, round, soft boxes that occupy a lot of space. As you can see, this is very narrow and it doesn't require a lot of space to set up, right? Because the rooms are quite tiny, we don't have enough room, right? That's the light. The stand is a simple, cheap stand here. If you come over here for the camera, this camera is a Sony ZV-E10. It's a crop sensor camera, and it has attached a Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. This is a very good lens that gives you that shallow depth of field in the background, basically blurry background, and also it's a wide lens, so it allows Nikki to stay quite close to the camera because the room is also small. We don't need to be very far away from the cameras. Attached to it, it's an HDMI output, and this goes all the way to my room where I have a computer, and I'll explain that in a bit on how it all connects. In front of the lens, we have a small teleprompter. It's from this view, and this is where Nikki places her phone over here, and then she has her scripts for the Monday coffee over there, and she's looking straight into the camera because that's a mirror, and the lens is behind that mirror, and that's how you get that effect that she's basically talking to you. She is actually reading the script from
I don't read script.
Yeah, sure. Okay, she also has the computer here to talk to me, and because we have a Zoom call and all that stuff. She is speaking into a Elgato Wave 3 microphone. Again, very good for streaming and any type of video content, for audio stuff. And this, again, it doesn't go into her computer. Her computer is used strictly for the Zoom call with me. It goes back into my computer where I have all of the video and audio inputs, and that's where I record and process. Right, in the background, we have that teeny tiny little light, and this is what gives Nikki the hair light and creates a bit of a separation between her and the background. And then over here, down here, and you'll see it on the stream, at least this current stream, it's a Godox tube light, yeah, and it's an RGB light. It's quite powerful. It allows us to create colored background, wall, and so on. And we have the different colors. And for example, for Halloween, we chose this orange thing in the background.
It matches my finger.
Yeah, and it matches Nikki's fingernail. And then we have a little decoration here. This looks really nice because it's a lot of plants, green, but also we have the Monday Coffee Jigsaw sign over there. And that's about it for Nikki's room. Again, I will show before and after, just to see how the office looks when none of this is set up. This is very easy for me to set up and pick up. It probably takes me 5 minutes to drag all of the cables and put everything together.
5 minutes later.
And this is how the room looks like when everything is clean. So we can work here whole week without this room being studio, but the office.
Right, let's go to my main studio room.
To find the room, you need to follow the cables.
Yeah. All right, so this room is the studio room. This is where we actually do a lot of the filming outside Monday Coffee as well. This is where I sit for Monday Coffee, but this is where we do all of the videos. My startup corner when Nikki records for demos and so on. We'll start with probably the most obvious, the walls. So I've had to set up the Elgato sound panels to give a bit more of that fuller sound and just remove the echo a bit, and they're working really well. I actually have 2 sets of them here. Anyways, I'll put all of the links to everything in the description so that you know. This thing that I'm kind of like avoiding over here, this is a small and cheap LED light which I bought from Amazon, and this gives me my hair light, and it looks really nice. It always stays plugged in and powering, because it's, you know, if you're doing a very long webinar or stream, the battery will run out. And it's attached to a selfie stick extension pole, so that it comes straight under my head here. Yeah, so, and all of these are clamped, so I can take them out if I want to, if I want the room very clean out. And that's another theme here that you will see. It looks very messy now when we record, but once everything is put back in its place, even the monitor is actually a swivel arm monitor, so I can move it and put it basically in front of here when I work, because I use this station for video editing as well. Currently I'm doing all of my video editing, but you know, if you're not into video editing, for example, but you still want to stream, you can hire a video editor and such. But for me, I enjoy doing it. Right, gear. Central here, what you see is a glide gear teleprompter. So that there's a mirror here in front, the camera, the lens is just back there, and underneath, this is a bit of a different setup than Nikki's. I actually have a Lilliput monitor. This is an HDMI monitor that you can attach to your computer. It's actually usually made for putting it on top of your camera, but the good thing about it is that I can flip the image, you can actually see it on the mirror the correct way around. So I can still work with Windows here and do stuff, and use it. I also use it for Zoom calls. Everyone sees my proper setup on Zoom calls, and I'm actually looking at people in the camera. It's a really nice setup for that purpose. Behind it, there's a Sony A7 III. It's a full frame sensor camera. The sensor is a lot larger than a crop sensor, and attached to it is a 20mm Sigma lens. Again, quite wide, and it means that I can sit at my desk quite close to the lens, and I have the monitor here close by, and you know, you see me how you see me on camera. It doesn't look that close. Over here we have my LED panel. This is my main light, and like Nikki's, you can see it's very thin. It would be very difficult for us to have those big umbrella lights and such, and this is because it's full of LEDs. There's not one single light or a bulb or anything like that. It's full of LEDs, and it's a Falcon Eyes 18R or something like that. Right, so it sits on a stand. That stand is an Elgato. I also have another stand here behind the monitor. So yeah, so if you can see that, and this has an arm, and it has this thing which goes all the way up, and I have quick release plates on both of them, which means that I can put the camera here and have a different setup where I stand, and or have a second angle here, and that's what I usually do on Startup Corner. I have this camera, and then I have the other camera, Nikki's camera, here, so you have 2 angles. I have the same microphone as Nikki's, but just with a pop filter in front, and attached to it I have a arm, again, Elgato, because I'm a big fan. And this is a low profile microphone arm, which allows me to have it in front of me, move it wherever I want. I can also lift it a bit if I'm standing, which is good. And when I'm not working with it, I can just move it away, put it aside and so on. Then we have the computer here, which I mentioned. We have Nikki's microphone through an USB extension cable going to her room. And then this is an HDMI cable. Inside, I can't really show you that much. In the computer, you will have a Elgato Camlink Pro capture card, which allows me to connect basically 4 HDMI cameras. So I can connect up to 4 4K HDMI cameras and record on my computer, because that's exactly what we do. We don't use SD cards, we don't use anything like that. We record on my computer. You see, I have an app with multi-camera recording on Windows, and allows me to record both my camera and Nikki's camera in the same time on my computer. And I basically don't need SD cards or anything like that. And this is also capture card is also very useful if you do streams and such, because it means you can just stream your very expensive or DSLR camera and have a very crisp webcam. There's nothing in here that needs to be as is, to put it like that. These are some very expensive gear, but you can do with cheaper. So you can get crop sensor camera. Your computer can be cheaper, because this computer also has a RTX 3090 video card, which is quite powerful. It really helps me on editing and recording, but I think you can do with less. So you don't need this expensive gear to have, 99% of the quality that we have, right? So you can do with cheaper ones. Yeah, and that's kind of it. And then we have on air, we have a bunch of LED lights in the room behind. I don't have them turned up. Oh, one last thing. And this is where things get a bit crazy, right? So this is another light that I have. Actually, this is one of those lights, the powerful lights that you can use as your main light, and it's quite small. It's a Godox ML60. So for example, if you don't want the LED or what I showed you, this is quite powerful. This is more powerful than the LED and the others. But what I use it for right now, sometimes I use it for Nikki's hair light, but I have this contraption here where I'm just emulating the light of a window on the wall, because this wall was a bit too empty and too white. And the way I do this is I'm beaming the light. This is an LED cob light, basically. I'm beaming the light into this mirror that has this pattern, and then the mirror just splats the light on basically on the wall. This is also, I've noticed, is really good because it creates a bit of bounce light in the room and makes it less shadowy.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, so this is the studio. This is how it looks like when lights and craziness is not happening. This is where I do the video editing and meetings and calls and everything. And I really like this setup. It's so warm, quite chill. And yeah, that's I went super fast because it's a lot. But if you have any questions about the setup, or you need any help with anything, you want to set up something similar, just let me know. You can find me on LinkedIn. Bye.